everyone, welcome to the third session on Chopin's Black Key Etude. Let's dive right in without further ado, since this is a continuation from the last session. Alright, now we're looking at measure 17, and here we encounter a different pattern. Let's take a look. For the right hand, we'll start an octave higher, right in. This pattern is repeated. It goes like this: A flat, octave, turn it, octave, and that's the structure. So here's what you do: down, up, down, up. Start with down, then up, down, up, down, up, down, like this. This technique isn't too difficult. Now for the left hand, it's a similar repeating pattern.
Down, up, down, up.
You'll see an A flat 7 chord here. Like this. If you play this all as down, your hand will get tired, and later you won't be able to play it fast, right? So instead, down up while playing along with the right hand. Also, keep it piano. Try to make it sound like tiny beats rolling across the floor, light and delicate, but don't press down too hard when playing down strokes. As I mentioned last time, every movement has to include both down and up. When an object touches the ground, which is down, it must bounce back up. Next, it's a bit different. Here, the melody has a sense of rising, as if it's reaching upward. The pattern repeats as it goes up and down, up and down. Down, up. When you play this section quickly, emphasize the top note with an accent. This will give clarity and shape to the phrase. Now earlier, we played with down-up motions. In this part, you'll need to think of the motion as moving sideways instead. Focus on the wrist and hand, imagining that the notes are flowing sideways. Think of it like a string of beads, where each bead is rolling smoothly along the string. Sideways movement. For even more detail, as the notes ascend, apply a crescendo, gradual increase in volume, right? For even more detail, as the notes ascend, apply a crescendo. When the notes descend, use a decrescendo. So here, it's ascending. So you need to play it with a crescendo, like this. Got it? Now, when you play this part, use your wrist as you move upward, right? It will be tough if you don't use your wrist. When playing this section, use your wrist like this. When going up, tilt your wrist slightly in this direction, like this. But don't overdo it like a wave. Keep it moderate, and as the speed increases, reduce the movement. Next, let's look at the left hand. The left hand also plays an A flat 7th chord, right? A flat, C, E flat, G flat. It's an A flat 7th chord, but with C in the bass. So like this. Then here, it's a D flat chord. D flat, F, A flat. So A flat. Then here, D flat. A flat, D flat, A flat, D flat. Next, there are many jumps. In the right hand, start with 5 and 1, then switch to 4 and 1. Then use finger 2 to quickly reach A flat, like this. Got it? So, that's how it goes. When playing fast later, focus almost entirely on the left hand. Practice the right hand enough that you can play it without looking. The left hand jumps are very quick. Make sure not to apply too much force. You need to pinpoint the positions precisely. People often find the left hand more challenging than they expect. Practice this part a lot as well. Next, the pattern we learned earlier repeats, but this time it's changed to A flat. The left hand is slightly different, but it's basically the same. So here as well, down, up, then let's see. Now, this part appears, and the interesting thing is it feels like it's gradually ascending. That is, it ascends chromatically, half step by half step, like this. you're heading somewhere step by step. But you shouldn't play too loudly from the beginning, right? You get it, right? Think of the left hand as providing the guideline. Looking again, it starts with CC, then moves into octaves. This repeats. It ascends chromatically. Now, add the intermediate notes. Then it will sound like this, right? Here too, the D flat stays stationary. And the other notes ascend chromatically, right? It's the same concept. For the bass, A flat, then a half step, then another half step like this. It gradually builds up and you should play it with a sense of resolution. Of course, playing the correct notes and correct rhythm is important, but bringing out this feeling improves your technique as well, right? Now, let's look at the right hand. Chopin used this type of pattern frequently. It also appears in the revolutionary Etude. This pattern comes in at the beginning, right? It's a pattern where the melody is built around a central note. It's the same here with a repeating central note. Here too, the A flat repeats constantly.
솔, 라, 솔, 라, 라, 솔, 라, 솔, 라, 솔, 라, 솔. 이것만
Play above once, below once, and above again, right? So think about this. Repeated notes should be played softly. Otherwise, the main melody won't stand out. So play this part softly. Play it as if it's connecting the main melody. However, you should count it. What I mean is, emphasize the first beat to maintain structure. Emphasize here as well. This time it changes to B flat. Be mindful of the fingering here. Until here, and then to this beat. Okay, let's play it together with the left hand again. Play it like this. In the left hand, you need to alternate down-up here. Do the same down-up motion here as well. For these grouped notes, ensure smooth down-up motions. But for these triplets, they're often played individually. Instead of striking all with down, play them in a parabola motion.
다운 업,
Like this,
다운 업, 다운 업.
like this. Got it? Whether you bring this out or not makes a world of difference. For those of you with smaller hands, this part might be challenging, but just focus on capturing the feeling of it, and that should be enough, right? Now, in this section, there's a rest in the middle. I mentioned before that you need to keep the timing precise. In this case, the right hand handles that, right? Here, both hands play together. Here, the down-up motion starts a half beat ahead of the 8th note, right? Keep that in mind. Make sure to take note of that as well. Next, you'll notice that the right hand has many leaps. This is the melody, right? Play it softly. When leaping, the chances of missing notes are high. Why is that? It's because the black keys have a smaller surface area and you still have to play them with your pinky finger. That's why the chances of error are high. So It's the same here. You need to practice leaps. How should you practice leaps? Your body remembers faster than you think. Our body quickly memorizes movements. So make sure to practice this part a lot. Practice preparing in advance, moving to the position before playing, like this. Next, this part is tricky. Using 5-3-2 and moving to D is difficult. That's because it requires a wide stretch of the fingers, this section. So make sure to stretch your fingers regularly. So like this, practice leaps by preparing and moving to the position before playing. If your body doesn't accurately remember the position, you'll end up applying unnecessary tension. So practice leaps frequently and make sure to release the tension here, like this, without applying force. Now the next part is similar to what we did earlier, but it's a little different. Let's take a look. It's just D flat and B flat here. You need to quickly switch fingers here, like this, quickly change them. Next, this part is quite challenging. Why is it difficult? First, the right hand has become more complex than before. Here, it switches to A flat. Then, it transitions to this, and you need to switch to finger 4 here. Then, change to 1 and 5 here as well. Next, you have to quickly grab the keys, right? To practice this part, play D. Then switch to finger 5 while quickly preparing your position. Then, like this. This position, right? This is how it flows. You need to practice this movement. Like this. Practice the right hand a lot as well. This section has both a complex right hand and a complex left hand. You might not even know where to focus your eyes, right? The right hand descends and the left hand has many leaps. That's why you need to practice this part a lot. You need to practice the right hand enough to play it without looking, because you need to focus on the left hand during performance. Got it? That's all for this video. You know, not many students can play the left hand separately as well as they think. You've been practicing both hands together so much that you're neglecting the left hand. That means you're not practicing it accurately. You need to isolate the left hand and be able to play it perfectly, even when it's just the left hand. Give it a try, everyone. Some of you might find it confusing. All right, we'll learn the next part in the next session. Everyone, see you next time.